This is Cosmo Royale telling you to get ready for Gazbot and the Big Dawg Defender. Action activate!
Here we come, there they go. Evil runs, 'cause they know we're super soldiers. We got cool clothes. You will swoon when you see our pose. Henshin, energize, mask on. Time to ride. Combine, grease ties.
Meanwhile, we're here for Action Activate. I am Gazbot.
Big Dawg Defender here.
Yes, with me as always. I didn't give you the proper lead in. And we're here to talk about Power Rangers. Today we're going to be talking about Beast Morphers, Season 2, Episode 2, or episode, I just said this too, 24, 25 in the whole, if you want to look at it that way. We're also going to talk about a few other things. We'll probably talk about the news that I was just talking about, but whatever. Is there anything you want to say or do at the top of the show before we get into the episode?
I liked this episode much better than the last one. I think this should have been the opener.
Okay. I don't know if I don't know if I agree, but I don't disagree so strongly. I need to argue about it. And let's see, we got chat. In chat, we got Mechanical Claire, Real Babu saying hi, and Evox is gone finally. Yeah, that was it was a combination of the big dog running late and Evox running havoc.
Let's just blame Evox.
Oh, he got your car as well? Okay. All right, well, in a way, we can blame Evox because your father was involved, and it seems like fathers and Evox are getting all mixed up, as according to this episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right,
just the gross inconveniences, but to light degree.
Yes. So the first episode, or the second episode rather, is called. Oh, I didn't catch it. I don't remember what it's called. Do you?
Oh, it had a great pun.
It was like soul searching, soul fishing.
Maybe it's something to do with the ocean. I remember when I was about to watch, I was like, "Oh, this pun! All right, we're in for something with water."
Yeah. But it starts once again at the center where we see Blaze teaching a class, being good guy Blaze, being nice to his students and everything, just reinforcing, oh, he's a good guy again, and keeping him in the episode a little bit like last time. Although, as we will go further, both Blaze and Roxy got to be in the episode a lot more this time, which awesome.
Yeah.
On the news, there's a garbage crisis, and this just happens to be.
That's the greatest headline I've ever seen.
I know, garbage crisis.
It sounds like something that you would say about something completely different, like later when we talk about some toy news, there's a garbage crisis going on.
Yeah. So save our shores. Thank you, Matt Kendall Claire.
There we go.
Yeah, it does seem so generic but of course, because it's Power Rangers and everybody's connected, this is Roxy's aunt who she works with. That is not. I'm sorry, not
this giant organization.
Right, not the woman on the news, but the woman who is responsible for this garbage spill. Unfortunately, also it's funny it's clearly set dressing the way the garbage is because it's spaced out perfectly, and it's sort of benign looking trash. Like if you've ever seen real garbage spills, it's almost like snow drifts and big weird mountains and stuff, and then it's got it's not so perfectly spread out and so brightly colored usually. So meanwhile, everybody runs down, including Blaze and Roxy, including Blaze and Steel, run down to help out. Now, I just want to point out we've done this before, but there is Steel. Broad daylight, gonna help volunteer. What about, remember when he had to be a secret and we had to pretend he was some kind of science project, and now he's just out in public all the time?
You know what? I will say this. I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you on this point. Similar to points I made last season, I want to start semi-fresh. I'm not going to bring up right now that Ravi was a total jerk about certain things. I feel like he's grown.
All right.
See him
I'll go with you
the now.
Okay, fine. And I do like having Steel in more episodes, so that's fine. More scenes, rather. So Ben and Betty show up, and this was another Ben and Betty joke I did not particularly like. It wasn't the worst.
I actually liked this one.
Okay, explain to me why you like it.
So the thing that I hate about the Ben and Betty jokes is all of them seem super forced. Do I think they're dumb enough to use glue versus sunscreen? Probably not. Do I feel like the payoff, quote unquote, for this joke was better than them going, "Oh no, we're gonna shoot off in a rocket in space"? Yes, I
Yeah.
actually thought this was better because something, quote unquote, bad happened to them, but they turned it into a positive, and the Rangers kind of shrugged it off, and then we moved on and didn't spend too much time.
I agree in principle with what you're saying. I still put it not. I don't put it in the horrible column, but I don't put it in the good column. It's sort of
Yes,
middle of the road for me.
but the thing that I had is all of them, when I go in, I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm going to hate it, and I need to
Right.
know why. This one I didn't hate, which made
Okay.
me inadvertently like it a little bit more. And out of all the things they did, even though this is incredibly far-fetched, made more sense than some of the other things they've done. Like, there wasn't some weird
Yeah,
contraption they
no,
made.
it
They
is
didn't
within the
use
realm
a
of
robot
possibility.
machine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll agree with
like,
that.
I was like,
I think maybe the reason I'm being harsher on it, because I agree with everything you're saying. I think maybe
Yep.
the reason I'm being harsher on it goes back to the same way I was talking about like the set dressing of the garbage on the shores, because it's glue, and they sort of fall, and they get little pieces of garbage stuck on them. And I'm like, oh, garbage, and it's like a Dixie cup and a streamer and like a
yeah,
clean looking plate and a clean
and not
bag.
like a poopy diaper.
Or like needles, or even like a gross, food container, not even
Yeah,
nothing, and then
yeah,
then they go, oh, let's jump, and they jump, and again, this fits her character especially, where she's like, this is awesome, to use a negative to a positive, so I like
yeah.
that, but it really grossed me out, the idea of like jumping into a pile of garbage to get it stuck to you, especially this kind of garbage that's washed up on shore, who knows what's in it. And again, they pop up and they're like, hey, look, we're like garbage, and it's all super, it looks like clean plastic and pieces of Nerf and like just
Yeah.
the best garbage you could ever find. But
Yep.
it bothered me because it's like, if I think about this as actual trash, it's disgusting and horrible what they just did.
Yes.
And so like, even though I agree that it's plausible it could happen, it wasn't super super cartoony and everything you're saying, the fact that they are like, we're gonna throw ourselves into garbage repeatedly, just disgusted me.
Yeah. I agree with all that.
All right, fair. So we both agree. I was harsher on it than you were, I guess.
Yeah. So here was the like final thing that put me on the edge of like good versus bad.
Right.
When they revealed that it was glue, because it was very clear it was going to be glue. I'm like, if they say super, I'm going to be like science police on this. They're like, it's regular, not product placement, but like Elmer's glue. I was like,
Wait a
okay,
minute.
this
I'm
is
backing up. Oh yeah, extra strength glue. Because yeah, if it was super glue, it'd be clear and damage their skin.
yes.
Yeah,
If you've ever had super glue on your skin, it's awful. If you've
it is.
ever had friends who have pranked you by super gluing something to you while you're asleep, also terrible because you don't know that it's happening.
I'll tell you, I intentionally put super glue on myself more than once because
Seal a wound.
no, no, that would be much more bad. But then, can I say badass? I'll say badass. That'd be much more badass than what I did.
Yeah.
I play guitar on and off, and back in the day when I was kind of getting started, you need to build up calluses on your fingers. And when
Oh.
you start, you don't have any, and it's hard to practice. So I intentionally put I don't recommend people doing this, by the way. I put super glue on the fingers that weren't calloused enough, and it essentially kills the skin and makes it really hard right there. So then I could practice and play, and it
Yeah.
worked. The downside is that then eventually it peels off and your skin is even fresher. So it's not a long-term solution really, but I would do that from time to time if I was like,
You're
I really
like,
need
I have
to.
a gig. Brrr.
Yeah, kind of. It's again, I don't recommend it, but I did it. So let me
There you go.
go back to the show. So yeah,
We're gonna have a couple PSAs to the general public today. That's one of them. Don't use super glues to build false calluses. PSA number
yeah,
one.
don't jump into trash. And as Real Babu says in the chat, in action movies, when people jump into dumpsters, not a good idea. Also true. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're jumping off a building, well, it still wouldn't save your life anyway. Yeah, just don't jump in trash, guys and girls, everybody.
PSA 1.5.
Yeah. So then they see that, oh, look, also a turtle is injured, which makes perfect sense because, sea life is being impacted by garbage all the time. So they're just bringing that into the show. But we cut to the cyber dimension of evil. No, some other pointy cyber dimension of evil, because they scanned the cyber dimension of evil. Nobody was there. This looks kind of similar, but it's pointier. And that's where we are now.
Yeah. They even make a point about it, pun intended, which I thought was cool.
Yes, where Scrozzle hurts his hand. Oh, speaking of Scrozzle, the intro today, the call out was Campbell Cooley, Voice
Yep.
actor extraordinaire. He does face acting too, but as far as Power Rangers, voice actor extraordinaire. He does Scrozzle. He was doing his character Cosmo Royale from Ninja Steel. Uh,
Boom, boom, boom.
giving us an amazing intro as though we were on the Galaxy Warriors show and he was introducing us. I thought that was fantastic. Now I got that because, as I said before, I was going to do an interview. I did the interview this weekend. It was a solo interview. It was a taped interview. It wasn't a live thing, but we talked for about an hour. It's super in depth. It was a lot of fun. I'm in the process of editing it, so that'll be up over the course of the next week or so. But I wanted to get that done to throw at the beginning of this.
Yep.
And that'll be on the YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. Actually, I'll throw up the link.
Exclusively on the YouTube channel.
Exclusively on the YouTube channel, yeah.
What?
Yep.
That means they have to follow Gazbot on YouTube to find this exclusive content.
That's true.
And like and subscribe and set notifications so they know when there's the playbacks of Action Activate.
Yes, all of what you said. That. Matt Kendall Clear says, wasn't even one of my fun facts, but Mirama Smith, the ant, also played Elsa in Dino Thunder, which is cool. Oh, neat. I couldn't. Oh wait, Elsa was the evil side.
I think so.
Yeah, I could see that, but she had the fake hair. But no, but sometimes when she's a civilian, yeah. Oh, that's very cool. Also, especially because spoilers, we know there's going to be a lot of Dino crossover coming up this season. So that's one more Dino crossover, even though she's not the same character. But that's very cool, fun fact. Thank you, Matt and Claire, and he confirms yes, that is the character. So now we see this new person teleporting in. This is weird to me because I thought I had forgotten or whatever that. Well, let me just skip ahead. Devin's father, who we know is infected or corrupted in some way, he's Evox, or he's corrupted with Evox. And we didn't know that. I thought that, I forgot that, but I guess we knew he was corrupted in some evil way. We didn't know he was literally Evox. This made it super clear, except they intentionally don't show his face. So they show a human in a suit teleport in, and Scrozzle's like, oh, you're wearing that suit. It's corrupting you with the virus or whatever, And weirdly, they don't ever show that it's his father, which is odd because they've shown us that his father is corrupted with evil, and we know Evox is now back in the form of a human. So it's why was that shrouded in secrecy?
I honestly think the only reason is for shooting schedules.
Okay, maybe. Or maybe that for really small kids that are well, we know the father's evil, but we didn't know he was Evox evil or something
No, I literally think the only reason was that all of this was suit actors, and he was probably needed
so
for
they
something
just had
else.
somebody put on a suit and maybe that would make more
Ninja
sense.
Steel.
Okay, Ninja Steel. That would make more sense than trying to keep it a secret, even though we already knew it. But we still don't officially know how Scrozzle came back, although Campbell Cooley, the voice actor, gave his unofficial headcanon explanation in the interview, so you can watch that and he'll tell you what he thinks. But we have no idea how Evox is back in this body. We know that he's somehow infected the father, but I thought that was more of a mind control thing. How is he in a body that can transform back and forth? That I need some sort of explanation for.
Maybe in the cyber pointy dimension of evil, he can swap between the two, but then when he's in our dimension of goodness, he goes back to
how does
hashtag dadbod?
How does I don't think Devin's father has dad bod. He seems like he's in pretty good
No,
shape.
I know. It's
Yeah.
more just the pod.
How does information energy in his head allow him to turn into this robot body? Though, in any dimension. This body was built, constructed, and then destroyed. They made a point of they had to build the body using all these resources.
You are correct.
Okay, so we agree that there needs to be an
No,
explanation.
I think it was when the explosion happened, he was affected by Evox like we saw with the purple energy. Some MacGuffin-y explanation, let it be so.
I agree, but I at least want to have the MacGuffin explanation. That's my point. They have yet to address it. I said this last episode, and I still agree with it myself. This episode, I want more explanation. Even if it's a one-line throwaway, even if it kind of doesn't make sense, just say, oh, well, the energy backflow, when it bounced off the crystal, solidified the hard drive. Whatever. Just say something. I don't care.
Solidified the hard. So this is the small potatoes part of the scene. So we find out or get confirmed that Evox and the dad are the same thing.
Yeah.
We have this cagey, weird security camera
Security
monster
camera?
that we have.
I didn't
He has
catch this.
security cameras on the side.
I did not catch that part. You're right.
I
Because
did. It was the first thing I saw because I'm like, it makes no sense for a cage.
no, it does. It makes perfect sense because he put up a bird cage, And when this is funny, the things we noticed, I noticed the head looks sort of like a watchtower at a prison. So I think in the Sentai, this was a prison monster, and so then the
Ooh,
cameras
good
make
call.
sense. But
Okay.
they just used a bird cage, and so like yeah, that's again, it's just
You get the point.
yes, Ninja Steel, thank you. So yeah, but why they used a bird cage, I don't know.
Trappertron.
Trappertron. So then we cut back, and now they're at the I forget what it's called, but it's like the wildlife, sea life, doctor.
Wild Aquarium place in Coral Harbor.
Dr. Helpy Placey. And so they're all there, and we're like, okay, well, we're cleaning everything off and all this, but we need money. Like, there's some stuff we can't do for free. We need supplies and this and that and blah, blah, blah. We're all volunteer run here. So the group splits up, and Zoe and Blaze and Roxy go to talk to her aunt, and they're like, look, it's great that you cleaned up the beach, but all these animals are hurt and they need money and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, well, how do I know that's my fault? They might have been sick already. And typical kind
Dude,
of,
that made me laugh so hard. She's
Yeah.
like, they could have already been sick. It didn't have to be my garbage.
and it's so terrible, but I've heard people say things like that. So it rang true to me, that like somebody trying to get out of responsibility will say the dumbest stuff.
Yeah.
Now right here, love it. I love evil Roxy more than good guy Roxy in terms of like how fun the character is. But this moment made me like good guy Roxy because she's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And then she calls from the company phone and is like, you know what, we're going to pay for it. And basically just vigilantes it in. And I was really, again, we're getting ahead a little bit, but I was really worried at the end of the episode it was going to be a lesson of like, look, you try to do the right thing, but you can't, the ends don't justify the means, and you can't do it for the but no, like she did this and she was right, and she's like, yeah, screw this company, screw my aunt, they did this, I'm saving the turtles, boom, and she takes charge and she did the right thing, and I was like, yeah, you go girl, I would have done the same thing.
The one thing I will say that I liked about the turtle scenes in this is that when they were like, oh, a turtle, like I was like, oh, please don't put a straw in. I think that's a little too on the nose. And thankfully there were no straws and turtles in this kind of context.
Yeah, and I think part of that might have been because it would have been hard to simulate that without actually hurting the turtle's nose.
Yeah, I know. It was like, because they for sure use turtles in this.
Oh yeah, they're real turtles. I imagine when they were filming, they're like, hey, nearby there's the New Zealand aquatic, wildlife.
Dude, that's
thing.
what I was thinking.
And
I was like, to me, and this is not even headcanon because it's based on real stuff, but I imagine that when Hasbro was there, they were like, okay, what do we have locally that other seasons or companies that had Power Rangers didn't utilize?
Right.
And they just kind of went from there. And it's like, oh, we have these specific things in the region. Okay, like let's use them.
Yeah.
And just because they're sea turtles and stuff,
And also, a lot of times for shooting locations, you have to pay a fee of some sort. And I could imagine because this whatever this institute is, they want to promote, clean wildlife, clean oceans and protecting wildlife and stuff like that. So they probably gave them a reduced fee or for free because, oh, this is a good message for us. So like it's good business as well as a good creative choice and whatever. But so she does that. Oops. Wrong thing. So she does that, and then immediately out of nowhere, a cage drops on Blaze and Roxy. Luckily, Zoe's out, and I was like, oh, cool, she'll morph up and would be okay. But then, nope, she gets shot before she could morph up. Luckily, she got her call out that she needed help. Everybody shows up. I didn't get the shot of everybody. Wait, why do I have this shot? That's weird. Oh, okay. Everybody shows up. They start fighting. It's a fine fight. Nothing super great or whatever, but it serves the purpose of Scrozzle showing up and scanning Blaze and Roxy, and immediately I'm like, oh, this is where all those action figures that we've been seeing come in, and all the spoilers of Cyber Roxy and Blaze, because this is like we thought maybe they turn evil again or they merge them or whatever.
Robo Blaze, I think, is his toy name.
Yeah, and theoretically there'll be a Robo Roxy too, and but Scrozzle's like, okay, thanks, and he pieces out. Cut back to the fight. What I did find funny, again, we see, actually it was a little bit better than an average fight. I forgot. This one was like, they had some cool moves, jumping around and stuff, doing fancy stuff. But then Zoe is just standing there like, gun, just knocking everybody down. Like, once again, if you pull out the gun, and even Ravi, did I get a shot of Ravi? No, I didn't. But Ravi did like a fancy move.
Unmorph Fadeaway does it at one point in the episode.
Yeah, that's later on. The second fight with all the civilian stuff, it was a great scene. But something else I noticed, this is when the Tronics were destroyed. Actually, I'm going to do full screen on this so you can see real quick. there's like it looks like there's little ones and zeros similar to the Grid Battle Force stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I've never noticed that when the Tronics or the other Gigadrones or anything blew up before. Have you?
I have when it's very clear that it's Sentai footage.
Okay, maybe that's what this is. But I'd never noticed
Yeah.
it before, and I took pause because I noticed it there, and then I noticed it again somewhere else in the episode.
It's
But
similar where, like, if you go back to In Space, some scenes are a lot more heavy on, like, the
VR.
symbols than others
Yeah.
when it comes to, like, the VR stuff or their helmet. And, like, you could really tell that it had a lot more push in the Sentai. And then for the American counterpart, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, cool.
Right. Check in chat real quick. Matt Kendall Clare says Derek Judge did the voice of Trappertron. He voiced the SPD Blueheads. Were those the foot soldiers?
Rizaka, nice.
And Grisaka, who was the least evil overlord in Jungle Fury. The last evil overlord. I was like, he wasn't least evil. Okay. And he also did the voice of a Nylok and Samurai, which was Serrator. Nice. And Real Babu says maybe the NRA is a secret sponsor of Beast Morphers. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big gun guy, but if I was a Beast Morpher, I'd be using my gun all the time. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, they're blasting.
Yeah.
Blasting everybody. So to cap off this fight, pun intended, I did like how everything felt very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like you said with Zoe.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, she's like, how do we deal with these? Blaster. We got to get our friends out of the cages. Eventually they're in a cage. And then they find the most efficient way to get out and stuff like that.
I agree, sort of, except that Nate went to try to free them, and he never even morphed up. And he's just like, I can't figure it out.
Well,
and then they called Ravi to use his gorilla strength, but they should have just sent Ravi there originally, or anyone, or he should have morphed. Again, he didn't even morph. Like, it was weird. Especially because then the three of them got put in a cage, Steel and Devin and Zoe, and I thought it was going to be difficult to get out. But it's like, nope, they all just pulled out their swords and blasted him. But I did like when he started dropping the fences in front of them. I thought that was a cool scene. And it kind of reminded me of the end of Phantom Menace.
Kind of.
Which, I don't normally bring
when
that
they're
movie up.
deflecting everything?
No. The end of Phantom Menace when they're fighting Darth Maul and the shields keep going up, and like that's my favorite part of that whole movie. And it wasn't exactly like that, but just there was like, they have to bust their way through. But it looked really cool. I love that they, like you said, this was a fishing where they're just blasting through, and there was like cool slow-mo of like like it was just a really awesome scene. And I think then Zoe, and then Zoe and Ravi blast through. And then Devin comes in with like the hook line thing that they haven't used in forever and swings in and does like a different move. Like it was just a really fun, different scene, fight scene that we haven't seen in a while. And that's saying something because the scene later on is even better, the fight scene. And that's why I was thinking this one wasn't that great, but it is. It's just the other one later is even better, I think.
I'm trying to think. Was Steel morphed up? Where was Steel on all this?
He was running through. Here, I'll back up so you can see. He's with Zoe running through the cages. So the three of them were in a cage. Here, I'm going to go full screen so everyone can follow along. Where's my full screen? There it is. So the three of them get put in a cage. Devin, Zoe, and Steel. They're all morphed.
Yeah.
Then Devin kind of cuts to the side while Steel and Zoe, you can see them are running through, just cutting everything down. Then when they get to the end, Devin flies in from the side now that they've made the opening, and he takes them out.
My theory doesn't even work because in that scene when we were rewatching these clips, I thought Ravi was where Steel was, then he left. But I'm like, like maybe that's why, because it was from early.
Nate called them and said, "Guys, I need gorilla strength. Get over here." But even
but what I'm saying is from the Sentai footage,
right.
If Steel wasn't in it, you could argue that it was early. Right. But since he's in it, I'm like, there's no reason.
That brings up another point. Nate didn't morph. Steel has superhuman strength even when he's unmorphed. He could have tried to Nate was the worst person to be there, unless there was some kind of complicated lock that they needed to figure out with his intellect. But that's not what it was. So
so this is headcanon and being a huge apologist. So take it with a grain of salt.
Salt's taken.
All right. So you have two cages. You have Roxy and Blaze with Nate on the outside, and you have the three Rangers morphed up on the other cage. Yes. They got out of it by using their weapons. Now, assuming their weapons didn't work, they would take damage, but theoretically they would be semi-protected because they're morphed. In this instance, Nate probably already ruled out the potential of using the sword or a blaster because they're not morphed. They would get hurt if it went wrong, which is why the only reasonable option is the gorilla strength to open it.
Ninja Steel point to you. Ninja Steel. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. But I still think Steel could have tried to bend him. But I not taking away from your theory.
I think like if Nate crunched the numbers, he's like Gorilla Strength for sure should take this. Steel has limitations.
Sure, but
so.
Steel could have started like before they called in Gorilla Strength. You know what I'm saying?
But Steel wasn't over there, I thought.
He wasn't. I'm saying I still think Nate was not the right person to start. They could have started with Ravi or not using the weapons and everything and not morphing up. I think you're 100% right. But I still think Ravi or Steel could have started there and tried to just bend it.
Yep.
But once again, Ravi heard the call and he ran right over. Team player, heroic, everything we wanted.
I give him full props. Yeah. Like I said, it's season 2. It's a new time.
I would
be
say
alive.
even the end of season 1, he was good though.
I'm looking at season 2.
Okay.
And so far, so good.
Matt Kendall-Clare from earlier did confirm Blueheads were the elite SPD foot soldiers. I have not seen SPD,
Correct.
So I wasn't sure.
I think you have a figure of a blue head or an orange head.
You do or I do?
You.
No. I have a Operation Overdrive blue figure. He's got the white fringe. I forget what his name is.
I'm confusing it. Yeah, they look similar.
Because I thought he was such a cool villain that even though I only saw like that one episode with him, I got it. So cutting back to Scrozzle in the cyber dimension of Pointy, he pulls up a screen that has 2 robots, and I'm like, oh, one's taller, one's shorter. This is probably going to be Blaze and Roxy, except one's yellow and one's purple. And so Evox is on his case, like, where are my new generals or lieutenants or whatever you're making me? And boom, here they come. And I'm so dumb because, well, I intentionally haven't really looked at the toys too closely to like spoil it for myself. But I was like, why did they switch jackets? Like he should be red and she should be yellow, not realizing it's purple and orange. So I thought they messed up and switched jacket colors, but they're completely different colors, which comes into play later. So we cut back to the Rangers civilian forms at the aquarium, and they're all happy, like, oh boy, everything got paid for. And we see Roxy kind of like
super guilt.
Yeah. Well, is it guilt or is it fear that she's gonna get caught? See, I think
I think it's guilt that she went against what her aunt told her to do, but even though she did the right thing.
I guess. I mean, you're probably right. I guess I'm thinking if I was her, it would be less about the guilt because I'd be confident I did the right thing. It'd be more about like, ooh, this is going to be a bad scene in a minute and it's going to be awkward and I'm not going to like it. But you might be right. I guess because it's family. If it was just a company, then yeah, but it is her family. You're right.
Well, also the other part of it is everybody's like, oh my God, it's so great. This company did it. And she's like, oh, they really just wanted to leave you. They wanted to leave the turtles out to dry. Pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah. So her aunt shows up and she's like, I'm very unhappy with this whole situation. I didn't authorize this. How dare you? Oh, wait, there's a new sick turtle. Oh my gosh, look, this garbage hurt the turtle. I suddenly have a complete reversal. Not only am I okay with it, but you should spend more money and save every turtle you can.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and that's the lesson we're supposed to learn, but it was just really fast.
Yeah. That scene was okay. I also would have been fine with somebody like clapping back at her hard and being like, look, like, you're a horrible person. Please change your ways.
Yeah.
Animals are dying and you're awful.
Now that you have proof it was 100% definitely you, great. But even if there was a little bit of a doubt and you could spend a few bucks to save them, why not do that? You know? So, yeah, she got off a little bit easy there, but whatever. Time is a factor and it's a kid's show. Matt Kendall-Clare in chat says, I think the blue Overdrive figure you have, Gaz, is likely Camdor. That name sounds familiar. He kind of has like a Boba Fett sort of black visor thing here. He's really cool looking. He's like a bounty hunter type dude. Camdor is probably right. I just don't remember. I got him off eBay, so it's not like I bought him in the store, you know.
Yeah.
So then they all make up and she gets a hug and she's like, hey, thanks guys for putting me on the right track. Whatever. You're doing the right thing, but you didn't do it the right way. Then we cut to a construction site where the Tronics are just harassing all the construction workers. And for some reason, I really enjoyed the scene. I thought it was very charming of just all like, whoa, no, like for once Tronics get to be like tough and like effective and like they're kicking butt and they're scared of everyone. And like, no one else in this universe is scared of Tronics except for regular people. So it's kind of fun to me when that happens.
One thing that I love in scenes like this, I think from like a behind the scenes thing is like, you're right. They totally should have wrecked these people, but it's a kid show. So you see like one of the Tronics, like with this little pronged thing, like go like this at him.
Yeah.
Clearly could have just like skewered.
Yes.
but like because it's at like, okay, get close and look intimidating, and you just
Yeah.
think like you're the Trunks guy, like, okay,
Yeah,
cut, cool.
Yeah, it's
all
like
right,
it's like you're a bully. You're like, oh, I'm gonna hit you. Not really. You flinched though.
why, what?
Yeah. So then Robo Blaze, Robo Roxy, who both now also have a slash of color in their hair for their new colors, show up.
RB and RR. Robo Blaze, Robo
Oh
Roxy.
boy, I'm not a fan of that.
I need to learn how to say Ninja Steel backwards to take points away.
That would be amazing. So a fight ensues. This is the fight that I think is the best fight of the episode, and just a very good fight in general for Beast Morphers.
Yes.
It's mostly
Very
civilian. There's a lot of cool moves, and you can tell a lot of these, and not take away from the stunt people, but a lot of these moves are performed by the actual actors. You see them doing kicks and punches, including Abe Rodriguez, who, you know, in the past, I'm like, is he really going to be like, he's doing kicks I couldn't do. Well, I couldn't do any of this stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I was trained up for a week or two, I couldn't do it. This I thought was cool too. Zoe, Roxy, like kind of throws a box at her, and she kicks it out of the air back at her.
that was cool.
That was awesome. Like, yeah. So, and again, you could see that it's really the actress doing it. And then Godzilla.
Sorry.
And then we got Ravi doing some crazy stuff. Like every actor. Oh, this was the part you were talking about. The unmorphed. He slides over and like in midair blasts with his gun. Cool stuff. Great choreography. Big props to the stunt people, the choreographers, and the actors, the face actors, who learned a lot of this. And here we see Devin kicking Robo Blaze, you know, out of the sky. And again, in the background, you see Tronics doing stuff.
Yeah.
Great staging. Not, you know, very good. But now when Blaze gets hurt, instead of glitching, he's sparking and lightning because he's no longer, you know, like kind of a construct of the cyber dimension. He's a robot. And Devin, to his credit, is like, oh, you're a robot now? And he's like, but we're more than that. And then they morph up.
Yeah.
I like these new forms. I like that they're different colors. They say something like, oh, orange and purple or orange and violet or something. I think maybe it's amber and violet.
So it was amber and violet.
Amber and violet are the new red and yellow or something like that, which is kind of funny. Matt Leclerc, real quick, says Gaz Defender with the being. Yeah, well, you know, it's us. What do we can only maintain civility and seriousness for so long before something busts out. I do think it's interesting that they recolored Roxy's suit. It looks pretty similar. If it's different, I can't tell the difference. But Blaze has a totally new suit with like a cape, and he kind of looks like a knight.
Yeah.
I'm imagining maybe that's from the Sentai, but either way, I think it's cool. I
would agree.
I like the original suit too. Don't get me wrong, but this is cool as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It is interesting though, because these are the colors we thought Ben and Betty might possibly get if they became Rangers. Yeah. I don't know. So now the fight begins like to get intensified, so everybody morphs up, and I love this because Devin brings out the cheetah claws. I forget what they're called.
Yep.
And he starts slashing.
Claws, I believe.
I like that it's a callback to a power they've, you know, it wasn't like a one-off thing, but I also like that it was no match for Roxy's double guns. Pow, 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 pow. She might be a robot, she might be violet, but she's still using two guns, and guns still beat claws. Get out of here, man! I loved it. But then, how do you beat two guns with one even bigger gun?
Like 6 guns.
He pulls out the new super gun, and I'm like, oh, we're going to see what he can do. But no, everybody – oops, I think I messed up something here. Everybody pulls out a gun. They all start charging. All the bad guys start charging. And then all the good guys pull out their guns, including the super gun. And like, okay, well, I guess we don't want to mess around anymore. Immediately destroy everyone.
And just –
yeah, all the Tronics, Robo Blaze, just gone in one shot. Again – why are you not using your guns constantly? It's ridiculous.
So this was one that, to Power Rangers credit, and I forget what was talked about, but
are you going back to Mighty Morphin?
It goes all the way back to there.
I'm going to disagree with you then. Good. Say what you're going to say. I'll give you one shot, and then I'll disagree.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I think so. Go ahead.
I hope not. I was watching some video about Power Rangers recently, and they were talking about how they can never escalate a fight.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Never go
that's what I thought you were going to say.
And that was like a reasonable callback. With
is that your whole argument? Yeah, no, you're wrong. Here's why you're wrong. That did happen, and I've referenced that myself sometimes. But that was Zordon's rules.
I know.
And he was sort of grooming these people to be the sort of Rangers he wanted them to be. These people tapped into the morphing grid themselves. And any rules they have are by the government agency and the paramilitary agencies that oversee them. So there's no such rule about non-escalation. in addition, they're already in the middle of a fight. They're shooting. They're using swords. It's not like at the end, finally we'll pull out our gun. This isn't even like the super cannon. It's the regular guns. I mean, Devin has a special gun.
Yeah.
But like they all could have been using their guns at any time. That's not an escalation. So A, not Zordon's people. B, not an escalation. And C, when we get to the Megazord fight, you tell me that they're not escalating immediately.
No, I was gonna bring up the Megazord fight after. What I meant was the only time they brought those out for the finishing move was after Roxy and Blaze.
You just cut out, but I think you said after Roxy and Blaze morphed.
Correct.
Yeah. For the super gun you're talking about, there's a smidgen of an argument. I don't agree with you, but I can understand your logic there.
I'm not trying to be like, this is my hill to die on. I thought it was a reasonable callback to classic Power Ranger tropes.
No. I disagree 100% for all the reasons I just said and more.
I'm fine conceding the argument to you because I don't fully believe it. I thought it was a fine anecdote if you wanted to acknowledge it.
I think it works in any Zordon season, and it works even in some seasons where there's more of like a like Jungle Fury, for example, where they acknowledge, oh, there've been other Power Rangers and we're kind of tapped into a mysticism, or like anything where there's sort of more of a moral compass or a code. Yeah, this is a government agency. They want to be efficient.
Yeah, like I said, efficiency was key. You win this argument. It wasn't even really an argument.
I don't know why you brought it up.
Violently disagreed with
because I couldn't believe you were gonna. I knew what you were gonna say, and I couldn't believe you were gonna say it. I'm like, I know he's gonna be wrong, and I thought maybe there'd be more to it. And when you're like, it.
That's fine. You're about to be proven right in a sec. Just move on.
All right. So they see Scrazzle stealing some more effects, and they're like, oh, it was all a distraction. What's he gonna do with all that more effects? Oh, we got a call. There's a Gigatron, whatever.
Boom! Ultrazord. Yeah. Straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
Straight out of the
Ultrazord
gate.
out of the gate. Boom! Here it is. Well, this guy must be extra tough. It's gonna be a crazy fight. Nope. One hit immediately killed him.
Got it.
Ridiculous
you know what this was?
Short fight. This was a Spider-Man fight.
Lil Padon.
Yeah, because he got shot at and he's like, those don't bother me, and then one shot it. It was nuts.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Only critique from the entire scene
is that this was terrible.
Use the gun for the sword. I hate it.
They have to. We've established guns win fights. It's stupid. I would even here's the thing, like if I was working on this show, as we often say what we would do, and I wouldn't want the Cheetah Beast Blaster at all, but they say, look, Hasbro's making it, we got to put it in the show. Yeah, but the guy, the main robot doesn't use a gun. I would put in some sort of, and this would be very contrived. But again, I'd rather a contrived answer than none. Pulls out the Cheetah Beast Blaster, and instead of acting like he's shooting, he puts it into a special container, and when he fires it, the energy goes into the sword, and that's what makes it light up and get powerful.
Like charges it, yeah.
Yeah, it still is like, well, why do you need a gun to do that? But whatever. But it's like, I got the gun, and it's like, poof, there we go. And then he lets go of the gun, and then it swings. It's still kind of unnecessary, but it explains it better that I'm shooting even though nothing is shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beast Blaster stupidity.
I was so fine with this scene being super short because, like I said, this episode was about efficiency.
Which goes against your previous argument about not escalating.
It wasn't even. Oh my God! Stop saying it was my argument.
You brought
Sorry,
it up.
I brought it up.
I brought it up. Why did you bring it up?
Wrong. Just move on.
Don't bring up things that you don't believe in because you're gonna have to defend them. You're the big dog defender.
I defend till my dying day. All right, let's look at chat.
Oh, yeah.
So Matt Kendall-Clare had a couple comments. Both Robomorph forms are from Sentai. Cheetah Claws, it's nice to see that they still use them.
I do like the Cheetah
Roxy's morphed form was the suit that they had recolored for the Roxy Avatar morph. Yeah,
okay.
I know that that was something that they colored a couple times, so that made sense.
And apparently, on YouTube, there was a comment. Oh man, I'm forgetting the person's name. I apologize. Somebody who comments a lot. Cillian?
Was it Lupin Green?
No, it was like a real name, like Cillian Porter or something. I apologize because you're probably watching this. But they comment a lot, and they had talked about behind the scenes because we were talking about Drilltron last episode. That's when they put the comment on, and they were saying there was a lot of Go Busters, which is where Beast Morphers comes from, reuse of suits, just like the Tubatron and stuff. And the reason was because the season chronologically in Sentai previous to this was Gokaiger, which is Super Megaforce, which had a huge budget because they were recreating old suits and bringing in new people and actors. And so it was one of the highest budgets ones ever. So they followed it up with Go Busters. Like, let's try to, ease up on the budget.
Tone it back a little bit.
So even though for us Super Megaforce was years ago, that's why it works this way, which is funny because I feel like the budget on this for Power Rangers has been higher because Hasbro took over. So it's the exact opposite of what was going on.
Well, there's so much unmorphed footage.
And it's great, especially in this.
But yeah, there's just so much American footage.
Yeah. Mechano Claire, it's so nice to see us argue. Yeah, I guess we've been getting along too much. The people
Literally,
wanna-
I started this episode. I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna argue about, and then of course, Gaz found a way to argue.
I
with me.
found a way. You. No.
I blame Gaz.
I blame no one except for you. Okay, moving on. So Scrozzle is now getting yelled at by Evox because he's like, "You made these Blazing Roxy's and they got destroyed immediately.
And
What
they're
was the point?"
awful.
Yeah, and he's like, "No, don't worry about it. That was a distraction. Boom, they're back." And they're like, "How are we back?" And basically, it's like, "Oh, you're immortal now. We're just gonna bring
Yeah.
you back every time you die." I'm like, "That's pretty cool," and that is pretty cool because that's the way
Well,
they can.
time out.
Yeah.
One quick point. He was very specific and said, "This machine is able to bring you back."
Yes, so implying that that machine will need to be destroyed at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, good point. You're right about that. But right now they're effectively immortal, which I think is fun
Correct.
because you can put them in a lot of crazy situations and it'll be fine because they'll be
Well,
back.
Also, they have the kind of caveat and loophole that they've now built into themselves is each time they do it, they have to use more effects. And if they're low on more effects, they have to make the
True.
decision of, oh, do we want
Oh.
morphed Roxy and Blaze
That
in
would be-
here, or do we want to
Yeah.
use other footage that doesn't involve?
That would also be fun if maybe they get destroyed or they're about to be destroyed and they know there's not enough more effects and they start arguing like, well, bring me back, not him, or to bring her back. No, let me more, like because they like to bicker, so that'd be a good way to make them fight about who gets to get brought back.
Just steal.
Yeah. So now we cut to the ending. Ben and Betty joke, which I liked. It wasn't super
Yes.
hilarious, but it made perfect sense and it was
I
fine.
know.
They said, "Oh, we're all cleaned up, good for us." Oh, I can't find my phone, my communicator. She smartly calls it. They hear it coming from one of the bags. Like, I guess we got to sort through the bags. The truck starts pulling away. We're running after the truck's communicator. Perfectly fine. I give it a B plus as far as their jokes go.
I would give it an A because here's the thing.
Okay.
In typical fashion, and whoever wrote this, I need to look because I loved the ride
Agreed.
versus some
Yeah.
other episodes we've had.
I agree.
In typical Ben and Betty physical humor fashion, everything would have played out the same, except the truck would have abruptly stopped. They would have flown forward and gone, whoa, whoa, whoa,
And there'd be like an
and fallen into
explosion.
the trash,
Like,
and then
it makes no sense.
then we would have looked and they would have been covered in trash still.
Yeah, you're right. No, but I
With
did
a
like
needle just right here from one of the bags.
that.
Just sticking
And a
out.
smear of like rotten meat with like maggots in it.
There's just poop from a diaper right here, like war paint.
Yeah, and that like again going back to the earlier scene. That's why like because I'm trying to put myself in the world and not think about like it's like there has to be horrible stuff in that pile they just jumped into. Like you know what I mean? Like in that world, like it bothers me so much.
In a world where our garbage isn't that bad, come the Power Rangers, Beast Morphers.
You can use super glue to clean. Oh, you can't use super glue, right? Don't use.
You
super
could
glue.
use extra strength glue to clean up the mess that others
And
refuse
don't worry
to
about
accept.
needles or poop or anything slightly gross. No dead fish. Not even dead fish.
Don't do it for yourself. Do it for the turtles. Dur, 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 dur.
Matt Claire says, and I'm gonna mispronounce this. Sierrian Porter, which is the person I was
Claire-
thinking. No, it's an I.
Yeah, you're right. It's Syrian.
I'm not. I think they're from Europe, so I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I do apologize. Sierran. I should probably stop. I'm just gonna say Porter. CP. Hey, CP.
Alwyn Dale and Becca Barnes were the writers.
All right. Well, props to them.
Good on you. You both get a Ninja Steel point. A big
Indeed.
old one.
Oh, so there's them running, and then we get back to some nice shots of the turtle in the aquarium, and they're doing fine now. And the Ranger's like, great, and here's a little hug, and that's sort of the end of the episode.
Yep.
Very good episode. Even though the Megazord fight was like super quick and like kind of unnecessary, I guess they have to have one in there. I am
Yeah.
fine with the fact that they sacrificed that. Look, and I usually like the Zord fights this season. I've commented on them many
Yeah.
times, but this was an example. They're like, you know what? Let's make the Zords fight short and do a lot of cool civilian stuff. So I'm fine with that. I give this episode an A. Easy A.
Oh, same.
Very good.
That's why last week's episode, the more we talked about it, the more I was like, it's actually pretty good. This was the opener that we needed of like, whoa,
yeah.
all right, we're back.
But I guess
We got it.
they couldn't show. Arguably, you would have not used this trope, but the whole thing of Steel being like, oh, they're back, and Scrozzle and Evox and all that, like, you couldn't air it out of order, you know what I mean? It would make no sense. So that I imagine that they like just wrote a bunch of episodes, and different people write different ones, and they had what they had, you know? Because like sometimes you could air them out of order, but not this time. But regardless, I think the first episode was good. I think this one was great, and
Yep.
Yeah, I liked everything about it pretty much. I can't think of anything. Well, the Ben and Betty joke wasn't my favorite, but again, there have been much worse. So okay, there
Yeah.
you go.
One
Uh,
thing I want to note now
yeah,
that we're done with the episode review,
absolutely.
I like how we're talking about Power Rangers. We got some more Power Ranger toy news.
Yeah.
Both of us are wearing Supernatural.
Oh, that's really funny. I didn't even notice that.
I saw your cat shirt,
Super
and then I got
catch-roll.
my Tea Turtle right
That's
here.
awesome.
Shout out to Tea Turtle. They make some cool stuff. Please make Power Ranger merch when you get the license.
All right. All right. So we're almost done, but yeah, the news that I started talking about in the failed stream, I'll put it on real quick. I was talking about this terrible Megazord. I was quoting
Awful.
Toy Wizards, which is Scott Zellner, who this Power Morph kind is part of, and this was written by this particular article was written by Lauren Stone.
Beautifully written article.
It was
by
a
the
great
way.
article. I recommend it. And the best part, she brings up a lot of other children's toys and preschool toys at good price points and good detail from the 90s to today. But the biggest nail in the coffin for me was this Voltron she mentioned, which is roughly the same size, roughly the same price, made for kids, doesn't transform, super adorable and chunky, looks awesome. And she's like, why could they not do something like this? And I agree. And I was unhappy with this. I was unhappy with the transformable one that came out. I don't like the weird shampoo head transformer ones that come out. I, generally speaking, am happy with Hasbro taking over Power Rangers. Not just the season of Beast Morphers that I've been liking, but the toys. I love the Lightning collection. I like their mainline stuff. Some of the weird morpher choices for like gold notwithstanding, that might be a safety practice thing. But a lot of the stuff coming out of Toy Fair, like the Dragon Dagger, which again we don't need and doesn't look as good as the one we have, and these the preschool toys, I get they're not for me, but they're worse than the other preschool toys. What? Why? Why? Tell me, Big Dog. Why? Why?
So here's the thing that got me, because that article was the icing on the cake. So taking a step back, they even addressed it in the article. I recommend you read it, please. Find it on Facebook,
it's a good one.
wherever else you can find it, the website.
Toywizards.com.
They're like, this isn't meant for kids, or this isn't meant for adult collectors, blah, blah. They're like, if you're going to sell 27-year-old Power Rangers nostalgia, make it good.
Yeah.
If it's $5, if it's $10, whatever. Here are examples of it done well for children specifically. This one's been. Also, on the flip side, they announced the Zeo Megazord that's going to be like $90.
That's
also
not good. Actually, I think they had an article of that. I shared that on the Facebook page.
And that one I saw yesterday.
Yeah, I shared that on the Facebook page, and it doesn't. I'll see if I talk to them for a while. I'll see if I can pull it up.
So the thing about the Zeo Megazord, it's gonna fill kind of the traditional aspects that we know. I'm assuming it's going to be sold all together. If not, you buy it individually. I don't know why they would do that. It makes no sense, especially for Zeo. But it's essentially going to be like a mid-tier American release transform. Is essentially what it is. It's got some accessories. The build looks decent enough.
It comes with the helmets.
That's not a $90 toy to me.
No, it is not. And not only put aside the price point. If you told me this was $40, I'd be like, okay, that's a fair price. But why is it not so great? Like it's not as good as like the legacy stuff, which I know was Bandai.
Yeah.
But like, who is this for? It's not as good as the other collectible stuff they put out.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have the vintage figure, and I kind of prefer it.
That's the thing. And that everybody's saying, they're like, if you put this side by side with the old one that Bandai released, it's Vacuchrome.
Yes, which I love.
Which is way better. The articulation on this, the legs are the only thing that's better. The arms were perfectly fine with the ratchets that they had.
Yeah.
Like, it had stickers. Yeah, it was 1994. Next, please. Or 5, whatever. Like, nothing about that says that I should buy that and or replace the old one that I have that has done so well. And I have the other Zords in the line that go with. Look at that. If I looked at a glance, I would assume that this is a premium Bandai release right now.
Well, and just the comparison. The gold is better. Also, look at the arms on the new one. They have better articulation, maybe, but they're weird and like long, and then the feet look kind of too small. Like the old one has nice big boot-looking feet that look like it could stand up.
Good proportions.
Yeah, and the wings are just mistransformed, but it's a weird case because like $60 is a lot, but if it was good, a lot of people would pay it. but it's worse than the vintage, and you could get the vintage probably for $60. I would imagine, maybe not like with every single little piece or whatever.
And that's assuming you want every single piece with it.
Yeah, it's nuts to me. Like, and people want Zeo. People are like, hey, we want collectible stuff beyond Mighty Morphin, because like there are people who are a little bit older that don't care as much about Mighty Morphin. B, people that have all the Mighty Morphin. Like, I would have possibly got this, but it's not good. At any price, like I mean, if it was $40, I'd still be like, the vintage one's better.
If it was super cheap, I would get it literally for science sake, like literally wanting to see, how does this compare to Transformers that they've released, other Megazords of recent years, stuff like that. Like the things that Hasbro has against them for the Zord market is they're going against Bandai, whether they want to or not. You could say, oh, we're all new, we're doing this. I have this. Will I replace it with your product?
Right.
Also, who's it targeted for? Is it a release for everybody? Is it specifically for kids? Is it for adult collectors? And the thing is, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be for adult collectors. And I think right now, because it's early, and this is understandable, Hasbro or the powers that be at Hasbro are scared to price themselves out of the market. And honestly,
they're hitting the middle, which is the worst place to be.
No
kid is getting this, and no collector wants it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And they're going to find that out when people don't buy it. But what I'm hoping is they look at what Bandai's done with SOC and what Bandai did in the American market with the Zord builders and find a medium of like, look, either you're going to make a very affordable masterpiece and mass release like you did with Transformers years back through Toys R Us and Walmart, or you're just going to not make Megazords and everybody's going to hate you either way. So go all in and make the best product you can make and then price the best that you can and see what happens. Don't make this because we're not going to buy.
But I agree with everything you're saying, but I also don't understand because the standard release retail stuff for Beast Morphers, not the shampoo bottles, but the actual like transforming Megazords seem fine. And they compete against what Bandai was doing. I would say they're as good or better than the last couple seasons that Bandai America was doing, specifically Bandai America and specifically for the retail release. They're certainly as good. So it's like you're saying they're competing with Bandai even though they're not, but like if you match 1-to-1, the Zords for the main line are roughly equivalent. The figures are superior.
Yes.
The Lightning line I think is superior. Some people go back and forth. It's at least as good as the Legacy. So why in this one instance when they say, okay, we're going to do high-end collectible stuff, they're failing so miserable? And again, I'll even throw the Dragon Dagger in there because the Dragon Dagger doesn't fail as bad as this does, but it doesn't look as good as the one most of us already have. It's the same price, and most of us already have it. Yep. Who is the audience for this? Somebody that hasn't gotten back into Power Rangers since they were a kid that just today is like, oh, you know what? I want a Dragon Dagger. Because anybody that's been into Power Rangers at all had multiple chances to get it if they cared. So, I don't.
Yeah, the thing about the Dragon Dagger, like, the only argument I can make is that unless you went to GameStop, you couldn't really get the Bandai stuff. Like, once
true.
Toys R Us closed. No, like, recently.
Okay, yeah, but it was available online as well. And they were at every GameStop. Like, they weren't hard to get.
No, I know. I'm saying, though, like, GameStop, we could argue, is a different tier because I look at GameStop itself. Outside of us, most people go to Target and Walmart.
True.
Like when they go to brick and mortar. So GameStop being its own thing, they already lost some licenses. So like, not everybody goes to GameStop and their website's god awful. So taking that out of the equation, they need to. I'm sure there's stuff down the pipeline that is going to get us excited and change the tune. But as it stands today, there needs to be a shift one way or another.
And when you talk about the pipeline, like I agree, but it's everybody was waiting for Toy Fair. We knew we were going to see new Lightning Collection and new mainline and new kid stuff, but we hadn't seen the Legacy, the prop replicas and the Zords, which is everybody wanted to see one or the other, and they only announced 2, and no one's excited for either of them.
Yup.
That's got to tell you something. Like I don't understand how they didn't know that. Like the people working there in the toy department have been making such good decisions. Maybe it's a totally different department that does the Legacy.
Probably different teams.
Staying with Hasbro and toy, but moving away from Power Rangers a little bit. You and I have talked about this a bit. They're bringing back G.I. Joe, which I'm also a fan of. And they're 6-inch figures, similar to the Lightning Collection, similar to Black Series, similar price point and everything. They're doing something similar where they're not appealing to the 80s nostalgia and catering to that crowd, but they're not new versions. They're kind of remade versions of the old figures, and from what I've been seeing, a lot of people don't like them, myself included. They're not terrible figures. Like the
Yeah.
Zeozord, I think, is a terrible figure, but it's just like a weird choice. And I'm bringing this up because it's Hasbro and it's toys, and it's like
Yeah.
they make good choices. Like the Transformers, they're making a lot of good choices, but then they
Yep.
do this like either say, hey, we don't care about the older fans and nostalgia, and we're just going to make new GI Joes. I'm fine with that. Make a new team of GI Joes. Make them based on the movie. Make them based on something else that isn't maybe necessarily my favorite GI
Make
Joe.
them based on something.
Make them based on something, or if you're gonna make them all new, put out a comic or a cartoon or a movie to back it up. What
Yeah.
they've done is created figures that are based on sort of nothing with nothing to support them, but they're kind of sort of, and this is what really annoys me is that they're saying, and this is what worries me about Power Rangers too, they're sort of saying, well, this was a test. We're going to put these out, and if they do well, then maybe you'll get the retro figures later. The retro figures will sell. Put out the ones you put out a classic Snake Eyes and a classic, Scarlet, like ones that look like the comic book or ones that look like the cartoon, they will sell. Then experiment. I just watched a video, Retro Blasting. He summed it up perfectly in that, like, take your chances later. Who are you making this for? Why are you making this? And I'm happy because it's saving me money. But it's like I was the target audience for this. I was going to buy every single figure they put out, and now
Yeah.
maybe I'll buy Snake Eyes. Maybe.
But people that are in between both of us, because traditionally I would just buy all the GI Joe figures,
Right.
but I'm not for this. I'm maybe getting one or but what they're doing is, and we've seen this with Marvel Legends and Star Wars to an extent. They put out a version. There's a placeholder. Like Doctor Doom is the perfect example for Marvel Legends.
Right.
They came out with a brand new, super niche version of Doctor Doom. We haven't had a Doctor Doom in years.
Yeah.
They made it a Walgreens exclusive, and a bunch of people bought it, except for. And then they came out with a proper Doctor Doom, like a
2
year
years
or
later.
two later.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
something like
but,
that.
But if they're gonna stick with it regardless, fine. But it seems like they're testing the waters, and then they're like, oh well, sorry, GI Joe fans, we thought we'd make them and nobody bought them, and that's what worries me about the going back to Power Rangers, the Zord and the prop replica. Because like, oh, you guys said you wanted it, but nobody bought the Dragon Dagger. You said you wanted Zords, and nobody bought it. It's like you're not giving us what we want. We are addicts. We will buy the thing if it's the thing we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but
I think
good.
the two things with that, and then we're done. I think the way that they could win us over is something that isn't crazy high priced, but a little bit like lower, like maybe sub $300, above 100, sub 300, depending on what it is. If they do a HasLabs Kickstarter for a Power Ranger thing to really show us like the peak of what they're capable of
with no risk or little risk.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like if they say this is what we're able to do, take it or leave it.
That should be the Shogun Megazord, the one that we didn't get to finish out the set. And I know it's not going to be Legacy, but make it in that scale and that quality.
Masterpiece is
yes.
AF.
Call whatever.
Ugh.
That is the one because everybody's annoyed they didn't get it. For me, it's actually a specific Zord I specifically like. It's not even a set collection thing. I'd want that regardless. Yeah. And yeah, make it whatever crazy price and crowdfund it. And then once that happens, then you can they could gauge what people will pay and what people want and whatever. We got to be done, but I know you want to talk about the trailer that we didn't get to talk about last week.
I do.
Okay. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but what we're talking about is the Power Rangers Rise of the Ninja. I'll play just a second or two of it. We've seen this previously. This is from Crimson Vision Studios.
Yep.
And that is William Schufelt, the original actor who played Ninja Steel Red.
Power of the Ninja! Yep. Activate!
And then Ninjor.
Boom.
Right, I'm going to stop it there.
Two quick things. One, go watch it. It's really short. Two, they confirmed that all of the Ninja Rangers are connected in this universe. And three, they said that another Power Rangers alum is coming back in Wild Force White Ranger is coming to this series.
Jessica
which was
Ray, I think, is
huge curveball. Yeah.
Yeah. And some people are like, well, wait, was she even a ninja? And to those people, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. She knows martial arts. That's good enough. I think somebody even said, well, this is years after Wild Force and her father studied, and they actually justified it, which is great. Yeah. But I don't care. She knows martial arts. She's a Power Ranger.
She just needs to be in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because I would not put any restrictions on what Power Rangers can and cannot be in this. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Why would anybody do that? So yeah, the trailer was fun, but half of it we had already seen. The rest of it was
Yeah.
basically Brody training, and they confirmed the Wind Ninja Academy is going to be connected, and that's cool. But we had like a teaser trailer, and this is like teaser trailer 2, basically. But the fact that Jessica, I think it's Jessica Ray. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Mechano Claire says, I get a Ninja Steel point. Don't even like the Z Megazord they're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So I was already interested. I'm even more excited now that she's going to be in it.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to be in a Wild Force White or they're going to give her a new ninja outfit. I kind of hope they give her a new outfit but keep the helmet because I really, really like her helmet, but I don't
Or
really like the Wild Force suits.
Yeah. I was gonna say if they did something kind of like they did in Unworthy 3 with the like green Pink Ranger hybrid, if they did that where it's like
Yes.
that but ninja themed,
Yes,
that would be awesome.
that would be very cool. Matt Kendall Claire says, doesn't bother me with Alyssa due to her martial arts skills, and yes, it is Jessica Ray. So
Yeah.
agreed and thank you. I think we're about done. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
They did find some leaks for Wave 6 if you wanted to talk about it. If not, we could do a deeper dive.
We'll do a deeper dive next time because as of now it's like rumors and we'll let it percolate a little bit and we'll talk about that
Okay.
next week. And so with that, I will say thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you for the lurkers.
Yes.
Thank you for the speakers. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube. Just thank you. And yeah, go watch Crimson Video Studios. We'll see you next week. And when I get the Campbell Cooley video up, check that out. It was real fun. He's a real nice guy. It was a lot more in depth than I thought it would be, and it was good. It was really good. I live it this way. I can't guarantee you're gonna like it, but I like doing it.
I'm excited to see it. I had nothing to do with it, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but I'm very excited to see it.
He's a busy guy, and he's in New Zealand, so it was hard enough to coordinate with one person, let alone with 2 people with him. So, that being said, I have been Gazbot.
I am the Big Dog Defender, and hopefully I will be next week as well.
You might be Robo Big Dog Defender if something bad happens to you. Hey, y'all. Well, anyway, that's it. So, to the power.
To the power.
And
Yeah.
credits. So last week, when you were talking over the credits, I thought what I did was turn down the sound of the music and stuff, but what I did was turn you down. So you hear me talking, and then you hear you very quietly. I'm like, yeah, that's right, Big Dog. And exactly. Because
Like peanuts
you know
on the
what?
ground.
Now I can turn out the end credits. Okay, now it's just us talking. Now I've turned the sound off completely except for you and me.
Okay.
Too
That's
late,
the way
it's
it
over.
should be, really.